Hello and welcome to Career Conversations, brought to you by the Monash Health Science Society. My name is Kasang.
My name is Pearl.
And we will be your co-hosts for today's show. Throughout this podcast, we will be exploring different careers in health. Before we start, I'd like to acknowledge the people of the Kulin Nation whose land we're meeting on today, and we pay our respects to the traditional owners of the land on which everyone is listening. We pay our respects to the Indigenous elders past, present and emerging, and acknowledge their continual connection to the land and waters. Today we're very excited to be joined by Stephanie Hong, who is currently completing her Masters of Public Health, specialising in Health Promotion and Epidemiology. Her passion for ensuring equitable health and closing health gaps is undeniable. She has also recently started working for the COVID-19 division of the Department of Health and Human Services as a physical distancing advisor. Welcome, Stephanie.
Yeah, hello everyone.
Let's start from the very beginning. What got you interested in the field of public health?
Yeah, to be very honest, like if we're talking about when I was selecting courses in year 12, I honestly didn't even know this course had existed, like the public health, because I did public health science. I didn't know anything about it. And it was just my VCE coordinator that was kind of like, oh, why don't you give this a go? So I was like, yeah, why not? And then the first 2 years, I was still a bit iffy, but it was only until I started learning about the social determinants of health and then like learning about all these health gaps that kind of triggered me into wanting to pursue a career in public health and do something about it. Yeah.
Great. So we've mentioned in the intro that you're doing a Master of Public Health now, but let's keep the focus on your undergraduate degree in Public Health Science. Can you tell us a bit about your time doing the Bachelor of Public Health Science and how did you come to the decision of then doing the MPH?
Okay. Good question. So, I guess, yeah, so in my undergrad, because I was still a bit like unsure about what specialization I wanted to do, I did all these random electives, but then it wasn't until the very last semester I was like, oh, actually, like I want to learn more about health promotion and a bit more about epidemiology. So then that's kind of what made me do my master's. And a lot of the jobs that I was looking at, so like my big career goal is working for World Health Organization, and a lot of their careers they require a master. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do it now while I'm in like the study mode, I guess.
Yeah. Steph, how are you finding your MPH so far? And what advice would you give to our listeners who may be interested in doing an MPH or are currently pursuing it?
Yeah. Well, for me, I like online learning now. I find it like it's so easy and don't have to travel like all the way to St Kilda for my classes. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. And so was the other part the advice?
Like what would you tell people, I mean students just like you who are studying it right now, and a lot of them want to enter the workforce, so what advice would you give them maybe to balance both, I guess?
Okay, sure. So in terms of time management, I guess that's the crucial thing that we've got to get on top of. I kind of so what I do is even before the course starts or the semester starts, I go through all units and then I go through the unit guide. And then what I do is I pop in all the assignments in my calendar. But what I do is that, let's say something's due like October 10, I kind of make it due like a couple days before that. So then it forces me to finish the assignment earlier. And then also do all your readings. I know this sucks for some people. There's a lot of readings, but honestly, it does make the content flow a lot more better and it is enjoyable. But yeah, in terms of balancing work and study, what I'm personally doing is, so readings, for example, because I catch the train and it's like a 40-minute ride, I try and smash out my readings then. And then, yeah, other tips. another tip is also all-nighters. Like, don't try and avoid them. So I know in my undergrad, I did all-nighters all the time, and it's not good. Like, I was burning out. I wasn't getting that good grades. Yeah, but in my master's, like, honestly, I haven't done one all-nighter at all. I'm working more and the study load is more, but I find that if you just start your assignment bit by bit, even if it's just 5 minutes every day, you you don't you don't find yourself doing all-nighters.
That's really great advice, Steph. So the main takeaways is just to get enough sleep at night and plan your assignments better.
Yeah, really prioritize that, because I think a lot of students they do undermine sleep,
Yeah.
but it's just so important. Yeah, just for your mental health as well. Like, another thing I've like started doing is mindfulness. So as soon as I wake up, I've got this app. So you can do this like through Fitbit, or there's an app called Smiling Mind. You literally, it's just 5 minutes of the day, and then you kind of just reflect. And it helps you it gives you like breathing exercises to do. And I think that's helped me a lot, like in terms of like stress relieving and stuff.
Yeah, I think a lot of students are already having a hard time studying in this environment because I'm sure they have like a ton of other things to worry about. So I think mindfulness is a really good point, Steph, like especially in the current environment.
Yeah.
You just have, an information overload, and it's actually worrying. I mean, people have trouble focusing. So I guess that's an important point. Over to you, Kasang.
Thanks. I think it's almost like our podcast is about to become how you're meant to balance uni life with regular life and relaxation. It seems like something we keep touching on in every episode, but it's so important. So I think what people are going to be really interested in hearing about is your current role with the DHHS, and in particular, how you landed that role while you're still in uni, and what was your path to get there, and what do you think were the hurdles on the way to getting that job?
Okay. Yeah, so a little bit about the role. So yeah, I am working within the COVID-19 Direction Strategic Coordination and Operations team. That was a mouthful. But basically, so what this role is that the DHHS has created a temporary coronavirus hotline that intends to assist with the well-being of the community by answering queries, providing public health advice, and clarifying roadmaps and restriction guidelines. So how I got this role, that's actually another big tip that I wanted to give. It's actually, I heard this and I got this through as a referral. So my biggest tip is actually to network. So yeah, I didn't hear about this role until somebody already working there was like, oh, hey, they're actually looking for people studying public health. Why don't you apply? And then she kind of spoke to the business manager, and then I kind of got my foot through the door there. But in terms of hurdles, well, this particular role, it wasn't too hard getting my foot in the door. They kind of just looked at my resume, a cover letter, and then they did a quick phone interview. But then the thing is, when I got the call, I didn't know who it was from, so I just picked it up, and it was very unexpected, but it was basically an on-the-spot interview. So another tip that I would give is like, once you do apply for roles and you get a call from like an unknown number, just be prepared that it could be a possible interview, and have a little like of course, get to know the work culture, know what the role entails, and then have a little like star situations up your sleeve that you can say when they do ask some questions regarding the role. And then, did you say hurdles?
Yeah, I did want to actually touch on the phone interview. Can you tell us a bit about what that they asked you and what kind of things our students can prepare?
So for this particular role, it's all about communication skills. So I'm providing advice on physical distancing. So they were asking things like, oh, so what does good customer service look like to you? Like why do you think you may be a good fit for this role? And then when they asked, why do you think you may be a good fit for this role? I kind of focused on my public health studies. So I said, and my retail experience. I was kind of like, well, because I am studying a master's, I feel like I've got a good background on social determinants of health, and I am really passionate about closing health gaps and just helping the wider population in general. And with my retail job, because I was at Maya, that was constantly just talking to customers, asking what they needed help with, and then helping them accordingly. So I think I kind of just bridged them two together. Yeah.
I was just going to say, we got to stop downplaying customer service jobs because they're so important for communication.
Yeah. And like, don't be afraid to put it on your LinkedIn as well, because I think a lot of students undermine how much you can transfer the skills and like the experience from retail jobs to like public health jobs for that matter.
That's actually a really important point, Steph, because I know some people, they're really hesitant to put down, even working at a fast food joint.
Yeah, like
those skills, they're so transferable and they're really useful later on, because combined with your public health degree, it can take you places, working in a high stress environment, having that health knowledge, background knowledge that really helps people get ahead. Coming to our next question, how did you prepare for your job search, and what do you think are the most important things when doing a job search?
The two most important things I'd say is to have a strong resume and have your cover letter skills like on deck. So during the last few months, I attended several career workshops that were held online, and they're provided by Monash, and they give you like a step-by-step guide on how to write resumes and how to, I guess, tailor your cover letter for the job ad. And like you just learn so much about how to do this, and then how to ensure that you're writing it so it's tailored to the job description. Because I know what it feels like to spend hours writing your cover letter, looking up the company, and then polishing and tailoring your resume for the job only to receive a rejection letter. So another thing is just really like be persistent and resilient. Like your hard efforts will pay off, and even if you have to rant to your friends and stuff, go for it. But otherwise, use the opportunity to network with people working within the field on LinkedIn. But otherwise, another big tip is to create job alerts, like whether this is on Seek, Indeed, LinkedIn even has one, and do this on a daily basis. Because the worst thing is if you find out about a job with like 1 day left to apply, because a lot of the times companies do recruit people actively as they receive applications, especially for like COVID-19 jobs. This means that they may have already filled the spots by the time you submit your application if this is last minute. So I guess set those daily alerts, so then you do have a couple days to polish up your resume. And because we're so lucky as Monash students, we have the career workshops. They've got ones for like how to do well in an interview, how to do well on now in an online interview. They have how to write the resume, how to write a cover letter, how to address key selection criterias, because that's another important thing that you've got to do. But so attend the career workshops, just be persistent, and then set those daily alerts.
Working for the DHHS during the COVID pandemic, are you finding any parts of your job difficult?
A difficulty. So I'd say, a lot of the calls I get are from people who want to do the right thing, but like, because you get a lot of sad cases, like they want to, how do I say this? Previously the restrictions, and they still are harsh on like aged care facilities, visitors on aged care facilities. So I have a lot of people, like distressed people, like calling me, like crying, and and of course I can't bend the rules. So I think that was kind of difficult for me, because I kind of just have to be like, I guess, black and white and just provide general advice. I couldn't really bend anything for them. Because I guess, like, from a public health view, this is for the wider public. If we make all these little changes to everyone's, like, these guidelines aren't here to make your life easier. Like,
they can't fit everyone's needs.
Exactly. Yeah.
Coming to our next question, what's a typical day or a week in your life working in your current role? And are you currently working from home, or is it a mixed arrangement? Yeah.
So currently I'm not working from home, so I'm at the office. But basically, like my typical day. So my typical day, work day starts at 8 a.m. So I make sure I get there at least 15 minutes early, so I'm ready to start on the dot. And I think this is really important because we are accountable for relaying the current roadmaps and guidelines to the people that call us. So we need to be confident ourselves in the advice we provide and ensure that they are accurate. But yeah.
So does that involve a lot of reading up initially, prepping for your role? I'm sure, because if people are calling you all the time, I mean, you don't know what kind of questions you're going to get.
Yeah.
I mean, they could be asking you, because, I mean, in these calls, people don't really stick to a specific topic. Usually they tend to digress. So how would you go about handling such a situation?
Yeah, so the first part of that, I try and get there actually like 15 to 30 minutes early because every day we're getting new advice, and even like within a day we can have 3 different updates to the slide packs that we work on. So I'm constantly like revising them, updating them. It doesn't mean that I've got to memorize them because there's literally like 400 pages. There's no way I could do that. But it's just finding little tips and tricks. So now that I've been here for I think just shy of a month, so you can generally sense where the caller is going to. So usually you split it up into whether they're living in metropolitan Melbourne and then whether they're in regional, and of course the restrictions will like significantly differ. And then usually it's like they're just wanting to know whether they can do this or they can't. And my job is, I guess, I can't actually give them permission or say yes or no. It's just more so reiterating the current 4 permitted reasons to be leaving home. And I get a lot of questions about the single social bubble. Like I've even gotten questions like, what is an intimate partner? Just little things like that. But yeah, you just get used to it, I guess.
Yeah. So did they provide you some training for this initially?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the training was intense. So it was just a 1-day 6-hour thing. And then because of the influx of calls, I was basically put on the very next day. But in saying that, like the work environment is really, really good at DHHS. Like you've got team leaders that like you can talk to them like as friends. There's no micromanaging. And if you do fall behind, because it's like a call center job, you can put yourself off queue and then put yourself on training, and like it's fine. Like
So I just wanted to touch more on your work and uni balance. Could you tell us how you structure your day to fit in your uni work? Firstly, are you studying full-time or part-time? And then I think me and Pearl are just like amazed that you're able to fit in so much into your day. And I think it's like listeners would also want to know how you do it.
Okay. Let's have a look. So, all right. So I'm a morning person. So even on my days off, I'm up at like 5:36. Like for me, that works. I'm not saying everybody has to wake up at 6 a.m. You find what works for you. But so what I do is actually even backtrack before that. Before the week starts, I like to plan each of my days. So if say on Monday I've got work, and I know I'm going to be really tired after work. So then I just write like little tasks that I can do. So you guys would know our discussion forum posts are marked based on timeliness. So I try and smash out them regardless of whether I've got work or not. But yeah, so I wake up, I do mindfulness every day, and then I kind of like if the weather's good, I take my dog for a walk. But otherwise, I like to just get straight into work actually, and then I set like 1-hour timers. So then whatever I've designated for that time, I do that for 1 hour. So I started off with a 5-minute interval, and then I've worked up to 1 hour. And then after that 1 hour, I take like a 10-15 minute break, and then I get back into it. And then I think what's helped me the most is that I actually said like a time that I just stopped working. So regardless of whether I finish the task or not, or the assignment for that matter. So that's like 7 p.m. So after 7 p.m., like, because I've been working for so much, I just drop everything. That's when I get to relax. And for me, I've been doing home workouts, and that's helped me heaps. And then I try and get to bed early. Yeah, but it is hard. I'm not going to say like it's easy, but it's definitely doable. As long as you pace your work, just get on top of things. So even if that means like during the mid-semester break, you're catching up and getting a week ahead. But yeah.
Good answer. Yeah. I don't know if we actually talked about it. So you're full-time masters and full-time work.
No. I'm just on a casual basis.
Oh.
So I work like 2 to 3 times a week, and then but I'm studying full-time.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because initially, I guess they start you off as a casual person. Like once you get the hang of the job, is that how it works, or is it just based on availability?
Yeah. So there's heaps of us in the team. So we do have like a lot of flexibility, and they are really accommodating in that sense. So if I can't work 1 week, they're like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
so good.
I mean, they are really sensitive to the fact that you're studying.
All right. Did you or are you doing any extracurriculars either in your undergrad or your postgrad, such as volunteering or even extra certifications? And do you think that those have boosted your candidacy as a job applicant?
Okay. Yeah. So with my undergrad, I did volunteer on the open days. So I was the open day ambassador for the public health science course. And then currently I'm a part of the wellbeing ambassador program. And for 1 month, I was an outreach officer for cystic fibrosis. So outreach officer was basically just doing outbound calls, trying to collect donations for their fundraisers. As for whether it helped me with my jobs, I guess it gives you confidence. I'm not sure from the employer's point of view, but it does give you confidence. So it's definitely like boosted my communication skills, and just knowing that you're doing something for a good cause. Yeah, and I'd say it does help with the job search. Like it looks, yeah. How do I put this?
It even gives you confidence in your own resume that you know that you've got some things on there. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say that, but I was a bit hesitant because I don't want students to volunteer just for the sake of putting things on your resume, because I don't think that's right. But yeah, like it is something to put on your resume, but really do it because like you want to do it, and like from the bottom of your heart.
I did also notice that you do have extra certificates through Monash. Did you want to talk a bit about those as well?
Okay, yes. So that was the Leap into Leadership modules. Yeah. So these are like free modules that Monash provides. I think there's like 9 different sections. It takes like maybe 30 minutes to an hour, but with the study tip that I just provided in like where I chucked it, put it into 5-minute blocks. That's actually a skill that I learned from this Lilo module. So yeah, that's actually, yeah. It's a good point that you brought that up, because that I would recommend that to all Monash students. There's ones for leadership, ones for time management, ones for communicating with impact, which I think is really important for public health students, because I guess health information is really nothing unless you can disseminate it properly to the general public, which is who really needs it the most.
I think you've raised some really important points here, Steph, especially in terms of the skills. I mean, even through whether it's through the BLILO course or the modules. Coming back to your the skills in your role, you mentioned earlier that communication skills are really important. What would you say are the other important skills for your role?
Yeah.
And I mean, where would you say that you learned most of these skills? Was it while studying or some other job experiences, volunteering?
Yeah, so in addition to communication skills, I'd say teamwork is another big one, because in the public health field, you're never really going to be working alone. So whether you're the public health officer, you've got like the case contact team, you've got epidemiologists, you've got like physical distancing advisors. We're all working together for one common goal, which is, of course, to control and prevent the spread of COVID-19 in this case. But yeah, so in terms of teamwork, I'd say that kind of stems way back from when I used to play basketball. Because it is a team sport, I guess, and everyone's got their own unique role, but you're working towards the same own position. You're working towards the same goal. That's helped me. But otherwise, honestly, uni group assignments has helped heaps in terms of teamwork. Like, you have to work through everyone's differences. That's another thing. Like, you're not going to get along with everybody, but you're just going to you learn to work with people's strengths and weaknesses. So yeah, that's another thing that's helped me. But in terms of the work field, while I was working as a retail assistant, even that boosted my teamwork skills, because like, even when you're making sales, it's not really an individual thing. So we were always scored against our department. So I was in the menswear department. So yeah, I think instead of trying to do like really well all by yourself, I reckon empower other team players or whoever else in that matter in your team. Yeah, and I think it's a bit more efficient as well if everybody's like, you just don't want to leave anyone behind, I guess, in that sense.
So much good advice. Bit of a different question. What's your favorite part of your job?
Yeah. I'd say, like, overall, I just the favorite part of my job is just knowing that I'm doing something for the whole of Victoria, and I'm making like even if it's a small difference in the stopping the spread of COVID-19. It's quite rewarding, yeah, just knowing that. And also another thing is just the networks that are built already with the people in DHHS. But I think that comes with every job, and even uni. Yeah, networking is just such a big thing that I reckon students should like remember to keep doing.
Very valuable. Yeah.
Thanks, Steph. What do you think is changing in terms of jobs in your sector due to COVID? I mean, are these roles going to change after the pandemic, or as the pandemic eases? What's the future of such roles?
Well, I think COVID-19, like, from my point of view, it's opened up heaps of public health jobs. Like my role as a physical distancing advisor would not have even opened if it wasn't for COVID-19. So I think for us, we're a bit lucky in that sense that I think it's opened up a lot more jobs. And I think, like, before COVID-19, a lot of people wouldn't have even known what an epidemiologist is. So I think it's also shed light on the importance of public health workers.
I think it was difficult explaining what public health was to people when I started my degree, so now everyone knows. You've mentioned the importance you place on health equity and access to healthcare, but what other aspects are there that keep you interested and motivated to keep doing what you do? And we've already talked quite a bit about how you balance your work and uni work with other commitments and relaxation. Can you tell us a bit more about how you do that? Like, do you have any hobbies or interests that keep you going?
Like for me, I actually find the master's content quite interesting. So I don't have much difficulty in motivation. Yeah, but I guess like learning new things is motivating in itself. It's like, oh, like I didn't realize I could pursue a career in that, or like, oh, I didn't even realize this during my undergraduate year. And in terms of um, like what I do on the side to help me with my work-life balance, like before COVID-19, I was like I loved going to the gym. Like, and that was not even like for aesthetics, but it puts my mind in such a like a clean slate. And for like that 1 hour or 45 minutes, like you're not thinking about anything else. So I think if you can find an activity that can like put your mind off uni work, try and find that hobby. Like, and even if it's just like a Zoom call with your mates, like that's helped me heaps because you can't really meet up with your friends right now, and like scheduling like movie nights and stuff, that's helped me a lot as well.
Was there anything else you wanted to talk about, Stephanie, that you think would be helpful?
Yeah, actually another thing, when you are looking for jobs, like don't you don't have to like hit 100% of the criteria or what they're looking for, even if it's like 60-70%, just go for it.
Just apply. The worst thing that can happen is they don't contact you.
But like it's the worst because it takes ages writing up like a cover letter,
oh my God,
resume, you know. Yeah. And actually this is another thing, like network with your tutors. That's something I didn't really do in my undergrad, but during my masters I've been like trying to make a conscious effort in doing that. And I've been like, don't be afraid to connect with them on LinkedIn either. And then what I like to do is I kind of just look at like their work experience and see like, and like even volunteering experience for that matter. And then that's how I heard about the cystic fibrosis one as well. Because and another thing, like don't because I know finding a job during COVID-19 is really, really hard. Like just in general, finding a graduate job is so hard. Like don't stress too much if you can't get like a paid job. Just even like cold call or cold email, like for unpaid internships. I think that helps heaps because I know a few of my friends have got internships that way. Like they weren't advertised anywhere; they just emailed the company themselves.
Yeah, and I guess people are just willing to take on willing students who just want to learn and build their skills. Lovely, Steph. That's all we have time for. Thanks, Stephanie, for joining us today and sharing your experiences of your degree and career so far. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned and join us next time for more career conversations.